this set up at the right height. Oh, yeah, I guess, yeah. What's your mouth right here?
Spit on it.
I believe you're clean. Clean lip.
Hello.
Can do.
Good morning, my sweet friends. Good morning. Can I call those in the back to come join us? Diana, good morning. All right. My name's Ann Hudgens, and I'm currently serving as the president of the Unity Council, which is my honor and pleasure. Thank you. Tell me to step closer. Have a couple of announcements this morning. Would you all take a look at that back wall of art? Turn around and take a look. Whoa. Isn't that Gloria? Glorious? Gloria Willis is our artist this month, and I am inspired by her artistic talents and her vulnerability. It takes a lot to put your art out there for the world to see. So thank you, Gloria. It's glorious. We have a couple of, I want to just mention one thing. Our Muslim friends started Ramadan yesterday. And so 1.8 billion people are fasting and praying and turning their thoughts to God and goodness in humanity. Can you imagine the power of 1.8 billion people fasting and praying together for a month? Thank you for our friends who are holding the world in light and love. I also want, Joellen's going to give us an update about our friend Leanne Gable. Joellen, are you available? Let me call you on up.
Hi, my name is Joel. I just have to say, I had a student for like 3 years who did Ramadan, and it's really hard. She was really unhappy with it, but she did it. Leanne is going home today. She was in the hospital for 2 days, I think. 2 days? Three, okay. 3 days. Her daughter, Taylor, is caring for her, and she said the day before yesterday in the afternoon, she felt all the prayers and everything, and the two parts of her heart that weren't talking to each other started talking to each other again. They had a nice conversation, yeah. So she's going to be home today. She wants me to send you all of her thanks and love and appreciation for all of the prayers and good thoughts that you've sent for her, and she felt them. So keep it up. She's going to be fine.
Joellen called me to tell me the news about Leanne, and I called Jim and Sharon to let them know, and I was kind of in a panic. And so Jim's response to me, I want to share with you.
Anna, I thought you were going to say a little more. No, let's just go to prayer. Let's just go to prayer. Let's just talk to Leanne's heart right now. And so we go from our head to our heart, from our head to our heart to that blessed place where we have heart energy that we can send out. And so in this moment we see every part of Leanne's body, every atom of her body, being whole and healthy. And we bless the doctors and the nurses that care for her. And so we breathe into this moment. And we are so grateful for life, for love, for community. Amen.
Amen.
I don't know why I don't remember to pray when I'm in a panic, but Jim did. Thank you. We have the opportunity to bless Leanne with some food. So we're going to start a meal train, and if anybody is interested in helping with that, let's send some love in the form of food. Gerald?
No bacon.
No bacon. I know, it's the end of bacon for Leanne.
Bacon flavoring only. No bacon.
All right. I have recently started my morning meditation just saying the first lines of the unity prayer. So I say it rotely many times, and recently I have been listening to myself. So I'd like to ground us. And I'm going to say the first line first, and then have you think about it, and then we'll say the whole rest of it together. But sort of join with me. Our unity centers us in light and peace. Our unity centers us in light and peace, allowing us to recognize our God within and to radiate that love to the world. Thank you all. Oh, if there's any newcomers today, Julie, would you raise your hand? Look in the back. Julie would love to greet you and hand you a welcome packet. And hello to all online. Thanks for being with us. All right. You guys have an announcement? Yes. Go for it.
Hello. This coming Saturday, the 9th, we have our outdoor spring cleanup. And Leanne is our great organizer. And in true Leanne fashion, she texted me first thing this morning and said, Julie, make sure you pass around the clipboard. She does not stop. So I told her, I said, we will handle things from here. So I will pass this around. I know there was one that went around last week, so if you've already signed up, we've got you, but if there's anyone additional. And then Denise and Kurt Johnson have graciously agreed to take Leanne's place as far as being here, helping facilitate the event, organize everything, the pizza lunch, all of that. So we will definitely appreciate everyone's help getting our grounds clean for the spring.
Yeah. Question?
Do you have all the implements, or should somebody bring like rakes?
If you can bring what you can, that would help. We have some tools here, but if you can bring what you can, that helps.
All right.
And I'd like to add that, oh, you want me to get on the mic? Okay.
Because the folks online can't hear you.
Good morning, I'm Denise Johnson. Closer. So the Youth and Family Ministry Program would also like to say that we are excited to have any of our community children to help in the children's area for Yard Cleanup Day, to allow them to take care of their own space. And families and parents are welcome to join in that area, or if you want to let the kids do that and help in other areas that are needed, it's fine. It's up to you. But we're excited to have all the kids welcome and get some raking done and have them clean up their own area. Thank you.
Thanks, Denise. Take it away, Al.
Well, today, for the first time since I've been here, Gerald is going to sing lead on the song. Yeah. Woo. Gerald Gates, rock star.
Pray for me.
You're in the right place, dude. I'm going to let you count it off.
It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. I'm not one of those who can easily hide. don't have much money, but boy, if I did, I'd buy a big house where we both could live. If I was a sculptor, but then again, no man who makes potions in a traveling show. I know it's not much, but it's the best I can do. My gift is my song, and this one's for you. And you can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's gone, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is while you're in the world. I sat on the roof and I kicked off the moss. Well, a few of the verses they've got me quite crossed. But the sun's been quite kind while I wrote this song. It's for people like you that keep it turned on. So excuse me for getting, but these things I do, you see, I've forgotten if they're green or they're blue. Anyway, the thing is, what I really mean, yours are the sweetest eyes I've ever seen. And you can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is while you're in the world. I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is while you're in the world.
Okay, I'm supposed to basically spit in this thing, Gerald said. So anyway.
Or eat it, you know?
Eat, don't think so. Metal doesn't taste great. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to do a very short reading this morning. It is by a gentleman named, I think it's a gentleman, I'm assuming it's a gentleman, Yeaw, and it's from the Butterfly as Companion, Meditations on the First 3 Chapters of the Zhuangzi. Okay? And I had to look those up to pronounce them, trust me. All right. Once upon a time, I dreamt I was a butterfly, fluttering hither and thither to all intents and purposes, a butterfly. I was conscious only of my happiness as a butterfly, unaware that I was myself. Soon I awakened, and there I was, veritably myself again. Now, I do not know whether I was then a man dreaming I was a butterfly, or whether I am now a butterfly dreaming I am a man.
Yeah. That was heavy. And if you think about it, row, row, row your boat. Life is but a dream. Who knows? We could all be dreaming. Are you in my dream? Am I in your dream? Is it just one big dream? Okay. We're going to do a song now by Ingrid Michaelson. And yeah, on that last song, we didn't get the intro. I did the whole intro, and you come in halfway, so I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Didn't mean to.
It's okay. It's all good.
Thank you. If you were falling, then I would catch you. You need a light, I'll find a match, 'cause I love the way you say good morning, and you take me the way I am. If you're chilly, here, take my sweater. Your head is aching, I'll make it better, 'cause I love the way you call me baby, and you take me the way I am. I'll buy you Rogaine if you start losing all your hair. So on patches to all you tear, 'cause I love you more than I could ever promise, and you take me the way I am. You take me the way I am. You take me the way I am.
I'll just use this one. Well, good morning. Good morning. You know, I wanted to make a comment about our Sunday services. And it's a comment based on a question that Mike asked me last week. Are you ever going to run out of different speakers on Sunday morning? No. If you travel back 2,000 years, on a weekend morning, it was probably on the Sabbath, which was Saturday, you would find all over the Middle East, in the land that Jesus grew up in, small groups meeting, very much like this. And you know, the interesting thing about those small groups is they never had one upfront leader. All the members of those small groups had the responsibility and the opportunity to share on Sunday morning or Saturday morning on the Sabbath. So you know, this tradition that this ministry has is very much like early Christianities. I use the word plural there because there were many varieties. And in Judaism in the early days. But then the Catholic Church kind of got hold of things, And they started appointing bishops and priests and so forth and so on, establishing a hierarchy. And guess what? Then one person was the upfront person every Sunday. Only one person got up and spoke for the congregation. But you know, we've inherited that through Protestantism and through unity for that same type of service on Sunday mornings. But it doesn't have to be. In fact, it's not because we lack something in this ministry like a permanent minister. It's because we've got something. We've got a whole group of people that have wonderful spiritual experiences they can share with this community. So, no, we're not limited. We're not limited in any way. We're expansive as a ministry because of being able to do that. Do you agree with me? Yes. See? Well, today I'd like to share something with you that's been on my heart. I want to share kind of a map with you. The map of the evolution of ourselves towards enlightenment. So many times in the services and the classes and so forth, I'm using terms like your personal self, your false self, your amazing self, your true self, many selves. Well, I think it's good if we kind of take a look at those terms and find out what's the difference. So in your bulletin today, there's a little diagram. And the very first one at the top is your pre-personal self. That's the self that appears at the beginning of life, where you have not yet developed a separate self. It's the point where you have not individuated from your mother or the environment. It's the point in time where there's no ego that has developed, or no sense of that separate self has developed. Now that does not disappear later in life. Those of us that fall madly in love, head over heels, you can also say that we are going back to that stage in life where we lose our sense of self. In fact, Sigmund Freud called that a state of love regression. How many of you like to regress once in a while to that state? Yeah, a state of love regression. It's also a state where individuals get so attached with a cult movement. They regress into that. They lose their sense of self. And it doesn't have to be a cult movement that's religious. It can be a movement that's political or a personality cult and so forth. So that's what that pre-personal self is. The second stage there that you see on that little diagram is the personal self. The ego develops. There's a sense of separateness. And this sense of personality and ego is a healthy and necessary stage. We learn to experience ourselves as a separate entity amongst all other separate entities, with our own boundaries and our own identity. And the separate self at that stage is born, usually sometime in childhood. And hopefully we feel a joy at our successes and sometimes frustration at our failures. In that stage, hopefully we can embrace life in all its complexity as well as its pain. We can bear it all, and we delight in it all because it's our life. That particular life that we have is a time when we become fully identified with our story. Hopefully we are a player in our life and not a victim of the circumstances. It's during this stage that the true self and the unique self begin to appear. We begin to identify with those also. But we cannot fully realize our true self or our unique self until the ego gets over itself. And just about the time that we have settled into the story as who we truly are, something amazing, something startling happens. We see that we have been telling a story, and that story may be true or it may be false. So at this time we're struggling with that story, the true story, the false story. And the false self that you see on that diagram is the unhealthy and distorted expression of the personal self. It's the self that harbors beliefs that define and sometimes deform our lives. It often comes about because we express ourselves in a sentence or a series of sentences, such as, I'm not safe, I am not enough, I am bad, I am too much. So guess what? We live inside of those false ideas. And we need to step outside of them, outside of those false ideas to genuinely see our true self. Recognizing these patterns, we must transcend them. Transcend. I've divided into two words. We need to transcend those false ideas. We must recognize our fixations. We must break those holds that they have on us. We must cleanse the windows of our perception. To recognize our false self, we must see it. We must see it to change it. Without recognition, the result is often addiction, eating disorders, or other psychological problems. And it's at this stage that we become a seeker. Folk come into our unity ministries at this stage because they want to see, they want to seek, they want to find, they want to understand. Well, they've got this ego battle going on inside them. Many begin to visit our communities, visit unity communities. Many visit Orthodox Christian communities. And of course, in Orthodox Christianity, they say, well, you must accept Jesus in order to overcome this false self. In unity, it's more change your thoughts, change your life. We are in this stage and we go through it, we experience it until something leads us to our true self. And all the time, that which we are seeking is also seeking us. Today I'd like to also mention the true self. But before we go into the true self, I'd like to just give you some illustrations of what happens in that false self. One of the illustrations that I had in my life, my false story of my life, was that I'm the oldest one of 10 children. So my dad was often working 2 jobs. And he had his own hobbies, his own life, and things that were happening to him. And so I craved so much the attention of my father. And obviously, he didn't have enough time to give me much with 10 kids. running around. So I created a story of myself that I was not loved and that I was not lovable. My false story. We also lived in quite a rural area, and so until we moved, I had almost no opportunity to participate in sports. So by the time 5th and 6th grade come along, I was a novice at ordinary sports that the other kids had learned to play. My false story, I'm not good at sports. Right? Because I had no time to practice them. Now my mother was, even though she did not graduate from high school, she was very academic. She read us kids stories and helped us with our homework. So I became very good at academics. My false story again arose. So I went through my life collecting false stories, false impressions about myself. And I believe that all of us do that. All of us do that. But in the next stage there, which is called the true self, which is known by many traditions as classical enlightenment, in this stage we make the tremendous leapfrogging leap from the personal to the transpersonal. There's a whole study of transpersonal spirituality. It's the liberation of the ego personality. And when we are ready or even yearning to evolve beyond our separate self-ego, we're no longer able to adhere to an identification with self that is painfully limited. We realize that we have a true nature. We move to transcend again our personality and identify with our essence. This is the change, truly the change that changes everything. Sometimes this occurs spontaneously. Sometimes through overwhelming pain. And if you'll be here next week, there's some individuals, some of the members of this community that are going to share those times when they overcame things in their life because they were on that path to enlightenment. Sometimes it emerges through years of seeking, through dedicated study, sometimes through practice. And the ego is freed from its own narcissism. You never evolve beyond ego. You evolve beyond the exclusive identification with the ego. So it's not like some teachings in unity where ego is edging God's out. No, that's not true. We always have that ego. But that ego becomes our ally. There's a congruence between it and the God self. As you begin to dislodge from your exclusive identification with self, with the separate self, sometimes we get disillusioned. We may be fearful or anxious. Sometimes we long for the old. I could give you several examples of folks in Sun City, Arizona, where Sharon and I were ministers, where people left and they went to their childhood religions, back to the Methodist Church or the Catholic Church, because they felt safe and secure, and they understood. It seemed familiar. But at the same time, you have a growing sense that you're a part of something infinitely larger. The unfamiliar, perhaps. It's the identification with the seamless coat of the universe that I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, Alfred North Whitehead's definition of spirituality. And understand that in this identification with your true self, your understanding of a true self, it's not a one-time event. It's a continuous process of death and rebirth each moment, which again I could go into the metaphysical teachings of Jesus' death and resurrection. That's a metaphysical example. At this stage, folks enter our communities and they begin to engage in spiritual practices to dislodge our identity from the hell of the senses of separation. And we begin to realize our life and claim our life as it is. We start to feel something about it, about ourselves, and we are fully identified with our story. And hopefully during this time we're a player in our life and not a victim of those circumstances. And then I'm going to mention something called the unique self. It is here that you realize that the true self expresses itself uniquely, and that you have a unique role to play. No one else in the world can respond as you can to the unique need of all that is yours and only yours to address. In the world's traditions, awakening to the unique self has been called the pearl beyond price by the Sufis. In the words of Jesus, it's the pearl of great price. The Kabbalah mentions something called Ani after Ayan. And in the Hindu tradition, it's called the cosmic consciousness assuming individual form. Unique self is the only antidote to the false self. It's here that you're fully alive and you're willing to let go of any attachment to the next moment. Your ego is still present, but you have moved beyond the exclusive identification with that ego. There's a great teacher, a Jewish teacher, Isaac Luria. He lived during the Renaissance period. And he said that every action that a person takes must be with the explicit consciousness and intention of what he called tikkun. Tikkun in Judaism is translated as the healing and transformation of all reality. That's what we're about. The healing and transformation of all humanity. And mystics say it's not simply a shift of your perspective from your side to God's side. And by this we do not mean God in the old mythic sense of an ethnocentric God who created the world in 6 days and is anti-science and vengeful and anti-humanity. God that Isaac Luria refers to is the energetic process which drives and animates everything on every level of existence. It lives in you and as you and through you. So down there at that bottom, when we talked about the unique self on that diagram, there's a little blue square. And there's 3 quick points I'd like to make about that blue square that further illustrate the unique self. First of all, we have the unique gift. The unique gift is the contribution that you can make to the evolution of humankind. It is a gift that no one else who ever was, who is, or ever will be can make. Both the overwhelming desire and ability to give your unique gift is a direct and spontaneous expression of your unique self. Your unique gift, whether it's demonstrated publicly or privately, is your divine gift to all that is. It is your very face of God in you, as you, and through you. Unique gift can be expressed in many ways. It can be something very simple, like making coffee on Sunday morning as a contribution to this community. But every one of us has a unique gift. And every one of us in this community needs to step forward with some unique gift that we can contribute to the evolution of humankind. Elle's music is her unique gift. I'm looking at Ellen out here. Ellen made a unique gift in her presentation of the beautiful Sufi poetry. And every one of us in this community has that unique gift to make. There's something also called the unique shadow that you saw there. In the enlightenment experience, there's still layers to be shed. Even when we're most expansive, most identified with all that is, there are pockets of identity that are kept out of our awareness, though they are experienced by those around us. You know what I mean, don't you? I'm glad some of you are giving me a response, because that indicates, yeah, I see that. And I trust that you'll help me with my unique shadow. You know, me and my shadow. No, I won't sing. Learning to do shadow work is one of the challenges of the journey of the unique self. Shadow work begins at the level of the separate self. And the ordinary understanding of shadow is the negative material about yourself and about myself that we are unable to own. The negative material is things like jealousy and pettiness and fear and rage and brutality. And this core material is said to show up and be repressed into shadow to a greater or lesser degree by every one of us without exception. So that's unique gift, unique shadow. And the third one there is unique vow or unique obligation. The Buddhists speak of the bodhisattva as one who seeks Buddhahood through practicing noble action. The bodhisattva vows to postpone his or her awakening until all other beings are awakened. In Kabbalah, the Jewish mysticism, the same thing happens. They call it tzaddik, a manifestation of wisdom and guidance in the world by you. So, many of us don't like the word obligation, I don't think, right? We identify obligation with arbitrarily imposed limitations set by sometimes the church or the state. They suffocate our naturally free ability as a human being. But the obligation that we're talking about here in consciousness is created by the direct and clear recognition of authentic needs in the world that only we, me and you, can be addressed by you or me alone. So therefore, if there's a need in the world, we have an obligation as unique selves to help heal that, to step in, to step up, to be that one that creates that healing in the world. So I just got about one more thing I'd like to say, and maybe the musicians would like to come up because we're going to have a meditation in just a moment. So I'm talking about obligation. Every true obligation is sourced in love. Unique love creates a unique obligation to give your unique gift. I'll say that again. Unique love creates a unique obligation to give your unique gift. So I think I've come full circle. At the very beginning, I mentioned how every one of us has an obligation to be a teacher, to be a presenter, to be a part of this community in so many ways. So I'd like you to think about that. Unique love creates a unique obligation to give your unique gift. And so as we go into meditation, I'd like to invite Elle to play our meditation music.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what we're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is everywhere, and every thought's indeed a prayer.
So in the quietness of this moment, I invite you to go to that place where you have that space. So what is my unique obligation on this planet right now, on this day? How do I bring healing to my community? So with those thoughts, so with those thoughts, we go into the silence. So we know that our very prayers can bring healing to our planet. And in this very moment, we encircle our planet with our love. We picture our blue planet out there in space. We know that we bring healing as we step into our unique selves, our guard selves. And so it is. So it is. Amen.
Well, we're going to invite everyone here to sing that knows this song. It's essentially the same verse. We're going to sing it 4 times, and we're going to send some beautiful energy while we're doing this to Ukraine, to the Ukraine, to all those people who are going through what they're going through. And for the first 2 verses, we're going to ask you to also send some healing energy to the 2 Leannes, Leanne Allen, who's also not here, and Leanne Gable, who we heard about.
And we've learned of one more Leanne.
The third Leanne
Yeah, there you
is Sharon Leanne Bush. So she's not here today either because she's not feeling well. And then on the after those first 2 verses, we're going to ask you to look around and just send love and good positive energy to each other. Because prayer is our secret power. It's our energy, and we can share it with each other, and we can help others with it. So that's all I'm going to say.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. Your loving is a miracle. How deeply you're connected to my soul. And I see the children are present. We have a special song for you. But I'm just going to start it, and I need the audience to sing with me. You ready? This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Here on the corner of Lines and Vine, I'm gonna let it shine. Here at the corner of Lines and Vine, I'm gonna let it shine. Here in the corner of Lines and Vine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Thanks, guys. They all came up here. I didn't know if it was going to happen.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Who wants to say what we did today? Okay.
Hold it up close.
Today
There you
we built a bridge out of things we would eat except for little, what were they called again? Toothpicks.
Don't eat toothpicks.
Okay, I guess I got stuck with the microphone. Today we talked about co-creating and like how we can co-create like together and like as things like that. And so we did a bridge as an example of how we could all make one and like co-create the bridge together.
And it was amazing.
Yeah.
There you go. What do you want to say?
So we built it out of candies and toothpicks, and that's all.
Yes.
It was very, very yummy. Today we talked about co-creating. We said what we were building. We were building a bridge.
We all said what we were. You said hi? No. Okay. All right.
Can we just go back?
And with this talk, I had a kind of two thoughts. One, how do you catch a one-of-a-kind rabbit?
Uh-oh.
Come on. Unique up on him.
Oh.
How do you catch a domestic rabbit? Tame way.
Where does he get these
Well.
jokes? I love them.
Well, it sounded like the kids had more fun than we did. Right? So we have our offering this time in our service. So we have our ushers come forward with their baskets. Okay. So let's bless our offering. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
Blessings of God rest upon me. May God's peace abide with me. God's blessings of God rest upon me.
So let's circle up. Prayer, protection, and the peace song. So together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.